The legal profession demands discretion above all else. Yet some of the most powerful attorneys in history ignored that rule completely, with devastating consequences. Here are 10 lawyers who said things that should have stayed private. Tap subscribe so you never miss a moment like these. Number 10. Matthew Bergman. Viral courtroom videos entertain millions, but they also document real consequences. In February 2026, Matthew Bergman, founding partner of the Social Media Victims Law Center in Seattle, was caught taking a selfie at the counsel table inside a Los Angeles courtroom. Separately, he conducted a Zoom interview with the BBC from the courthouse's first floor, both of which violated Judge Carolyn Kuhl's strict electronics restrictions during an active trial. The first incident triggered his removal from the plaintiff's steering committee around February 20th, 2026. Then, on March 23, 2026, Judge Kuhl formally sanctioned Bergman $1,100 at a follow-up contempt hearing, while confirming that his removal from the committee stood. Bergman called the incident a cataclysmic moment in my career, and stated that in a case about tech accountability, his own failure to stay off his phone was both humbling and deeply ironic. The camera had done what cameras always do. It captured everything. Number 9. Clive O'Connell. In 2015, a senior insurance law partner with decades of experience threw it all away in under 10 seconds. On October 31, 2015, O'Connell, a partner at Goldberg Segala's London office for the New York-based firm, was filmed after Chelsea lost 3-1 to Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. In an interview with the YouTube sports channel Neek Sports, he called Liverpool supporters a vile slur, branding them "scouse scum." The video spread online within hours and reached every major news outlet in Britain. Goldberg Segala terminated his partnership immediately, stating his language was entirely inconsistent with the firm's values of respect and tolerance. O'Connell issued an apology, claiming his emotions got the better of him. But the public fall from grace proved short-lived. Within weeks, he had secured a new role at London firm McCarthy Denning, which suggests that even the most viral professional embarrassments do not always guarantee a permanent ending. Number 8. Rob Hopkins. The incident took place on February 5th, 2026, during a child custody hearing in Pontotoc County District Court in Ada, Oklahoma. Attorney Rob Hopkins was held in contempt after repeatedly interrupting Judge Lori Jackson during an otherwise routine proceeding. When Hopkins suggested the judge was discriminating against him for being a transgender attorney, Jackson fired back with words that instantly went viral. "I don't know what you are. I don't know you from Adam." What followed was captured on the courtroom recording system. Hopkins spread across the judge's bench, sending a stack of documents flying across the room while repeatedly yelling, "I can't breathe," as deputies moved in. On February 11th, 2026, Hopkins announced the closure of Hopkins Law and Associates, an LGBTQ-focused Oklahoma City firm that had operated for 13 years. One courtroom meltdown ended more than a decade of legal practice in less than a week. Number 7. Paul Alexander Clark. A decade-long divorce case became the backdrop for one of the most reckless media campaigns by any attorney in recent memory. In April 2026, New Jersey attorney Paul Alexander Clark was indefinitely suspended for dangerous statements he made across multiple podcast appearances, comments that raised serious security concerns for a sitting Superior Court judge. Clark had publicly accused the judge of accepting a $200,000 bribe and filed motions the disciplinary board later called baseless and rooted in reckless disregard for truth. He had been entangled in the underlying divorce case for nearly 10 years when he turned to the airwaves instead of the courtroom. When confronted by the disciplinary board, Clark framed the entire suspension as persecution for exercising free speech. The board disagreed, and the judge he targeted remained on the bench. Number 6. Andrew Weinstock. Most attorneys know exactly where the line is. In Brevard County, Florida, public defender Andrew Weinstock crossed it and kept walking. The clash with Circuit Judge John Murphy began during a routine hearing over a defendant's right to a speedy trial waiver. The exchange escalated fast, with Murphy, visibly agitated, taunting Weinstock to step outside and settle the disagreement. What happened next was captured in full on the courtroom microphone. The two men stepped into the hallway. Sounds of a physical altercation followed shortly after. When they returned, the atmosphere inside the courtroom had shifted entirely. Murphy later took a voluntary leave of absence for anger management counseling. The viral clip became one of the most widely shared courtroom recordings in American legal history. 2 officers of the court, 1 hallway, and 0 professionalism between them. Before we continue, which of these cases shocked you the most? A selfie taken mid-trial, a fist fight in a courthouse hallway, or a judge telling an attorney she does not know him from Adam? Drop a comment below and let us know where you are watching from. Number 5. Michael Phillips, on May 5, 2026, an attorney in Brazoria County, Texas, did something almost unheard of in a modern American courtroom. During arguments in a child custody trial, attorney Michael Phillips repeated a racial slur multiple times, seemingly without hesitation. The incident occurred outside the jury's presence, but it was formally documented in the official court docket, placing it permanently on the record. Presiding Judge Terry Holder held Phillips in direct contempt without delay. Opposing counsel described the language as deeply disturbing, a sentiment shared widely when the story became public. In a legal system built on the premise of impartial and professional advocacy, Phillips shattered every standard of courtroom conduct. His behavior remains one of the most blatant examples of openly inappropriate language spoken by a practicing attorney in any modern American courtroom. Number 4. William Ginsburg. On February 1, 1998, he appeared on all 5 major Sunday morning talk shows in a single day, becoming the first attorney ever known to accomplish the feat. The legal community quickly named the practice after him, the Full Ginsburg. He was a California medical malpractice attorney and a longtime family friend of the Lewinskys when he agreed to represent Monica Lewinsky at the height of the Clinton investigation. His media strategy drew fierce criticism from experienced defense lawyers who argued for months that his stream of public statements and television appearances were actively undermining his client's position. Ginsburg was criticized for failing to secure an immunity offer from independent counsel Kenneth Starr. By June 1998, Lewinsky had replaced him with veteran Washington attorneys Jacob Stein and Plato Kakaris, who promptly negotiated the immunity agreement Ginsburg had been unable to obtain. He returned to medical malpractice work in Los Angeles. Number 3. Alina Habba, Christina Bobb, and Lindsay Halligan. The night FBI agents executed their search warrant at Mar-a-Lago in August 2022 should have been a moment for quiet, careful legal strategy. Instead, attorneys Alina Habba, Christina Bobb, and Lindsay Halligan each stood before cameras and made public statements minimizing the scope of what federal agents had recovered, insisting there were no compliance issues with the handling of classified documents. Court filings later revealed significant discrepancies between those public claims and the actual materials recovered from the property. The New York City Bar Association warned that inflammatory rhetoric from counsel in a case of this nature risked inciting violence against federal officials. All 3 attorneys faced scrutiny over potential ethics violations for statements the bar described as knowingly misleading the public during a sensitive and ongoing federal investigation. The cameras had been rolling. The record was permanent. Number 2. John Eastman. He was the founding director of the Claremont Institute's Center for Constitutional Jurisprudence and a former law clerk to Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Once one of the most credentialed conservative legal minds in the country, Eastman authored memos arguing that Vice President Mike Pence had the authority to reject or delay certification of certain electoral votes on January 6, 2021. On April 15, 2026, the California Supreme Court finalized his disbarment after finding him culpable of 10 out of 11 disciplinary charges for egregious and deceitful conduct. Chief Trial Counsel George Cardona stated that Eastman had advanced false claims about the 2020 presidential election to mislead courts, public officials, and the American public. A career built over decades in constitutional law ended in permanent disgrace. Number 1. Rudy Giuliani. He led the federal prosecution of New York City mafia bosses as United States Attorney in the 1980s and served as the city's mayor from 1994 to 2001. His calm and visible leadership in the immediate aftermath of the September 11th, 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center earned him international recognition and the enduring nickname America's Mayor. No attorney in modern American history fell further or faster from that height. After the 2020 presidential election, Giuliani made public claim after claim that he later admitted in court proceedings he had no evidence to support, including allegations that voters were illegally abused from Camden, New Jersey to Philadelphia to vote fraudulently. A jury ordered him to pay $148 million in defamation damages to 2 former Georgia election workers, and he later reached a settlement with them. On July 2, 2024, he was disbarred in New York. On September 26, 2024, he was disbarred in the District of Columbia. The court stated that the seriousness of his misconduct cannot be overstated.